Okay, just as mentioned before, we are the first time zone to kick off the KM week. This year we've got 19 countries and 56 events that are running. I think all up we've got something like 154 odd hours of community activity. So definitely a growing community and event. So well done. This session here is around the AI application in knowledge management. So following on from last year where we spoke about AI and AI was relatively new at the time and all the interest and the possibilities and opportunities that it may present. And we thought this year we'll loop back and just see how has it evolved and what's see how it's been implemented in practice to support some of the KM initiatives that are around. So thank you for attending, and thank you to Naveed, Tony, Stuart, and Bruce for putting your hand up to share some of your experiences. That's invaluable from a community perspective. So over to Naveed. Do you want to? You're on mute, Naveed.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, it would be great that yeah. Thank you so much. Yes, let me share first. It would be great if I can share it. Uh, uh, and this one. Can you see my screen?
It's coming up. Yep.
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Hello, everyone. And thanks for having me here. Massive thanks for the providers team as well for Australia Global Knowledge Management Week. It is the first presentation in Global Knowledge Management Week presentations in all, I believe, as Dan mentioned, in different time zones, and it would be great. Thank you. And also, it is my big honor that I am alongside other pioneers of knowledge management, Tony, Bruce, and Stuart, to share something about our experiences in NWPA. Let's start my presentation with these specific question that I believe that many of you ask this question from yourselves these days, and every knowledge manager has asked this important question: is AI a disruptive rival to knowledge management, or we can count on that as a knowledge ally? I believe we have presented and we have implemented some new solutions in combining AI and knowledge management in NWPA to share those items with you. And we have implemented some knowledge management solutions with the support of AI, but today I can drill down just only on one of them, that it is more related to tacit knowledge. About myself, I am Naveed Nezafati, Knowledge and Innovation Lead at Northwestern Program Alliance. I work with our transformation team, which oversees knowledge management, innovation, and AI. And about NWPA, for those people that they are in Victoria and Melbourne, I believe that maybe they have seen those level crossing removal programs, those new brand stations, those giant bridges over the rail, and in some cases, those roads under the rail to improve safety, connectivity, and urban design as part of our projects in Victoria. Our alliance includes key partners. We have four or five main partners: LXRP as the client and the government side, John Holland, where I'm based, as the main contractor, KBR for design, and Metro and V-Line as operators. Fortunately, in NWPA, knowledge management, innovation, and AI are all under the transformation team, and this allows us to take a multifaceted approach using AI as a tool for knowledge utilization and innovation creation. In mid 2024, NWPA picked one new approach for both AI and knowledge management. We kicked off two connected initiatives. We called in AI side, we called that AI Empowerment Plan. And in knowledge management side, we called that targeted knowledge management. There were many solutions embedding in them, but just related to this presentation, one of the goals that we exploring for that in combining AI and knowledge management was about exploring and finding our critical knowledge areas as knowledge gaps. We uh, found many risks in knowledge management in NWPA, and based on those risks, we drilled down in some specific solutions. And one of those solutions were connected to understanding our knowledge gaps in different more than 12 domains that we have had. When I'm talking about domains or business units, they are construction, design, safety, sustainability, people and stakeholders, different domains that we have here as our main business units. Long story short, we used AI agents. We created some AI agents with the backend of our knowledge bases, more focused on explicit knowledge, explicit type of knowledge, to scan our legacy knowledge bases to pull out key knowledge areas that they were most at risk because of their tacitness. This process gave us a list of critical knowledge areas in each domain, which we confirmed with domain managers and which we focused on them in our knowledge management targeted approach to extract tacit knowledge from our SMEs about them. At NWPA, based on these items that I mentioned, one of the risks we recognized was the frequent onboarding and offboarding led to the loss of valuable knowledge. Traditionally, like many other organizations, we have had SMEs exit interviews. But about those SMEs exit interviews, the problem was that it was very time consuming, not customized for SMEs or domains, and were very formal one, just with some specific questions about, okay, what was your best practices? Just that. And with abundant outputs. To address this problem, we built the challenge into our AI roadmap, and we redesigned the SME's knowledge process, introducing NWPA Insider Insights, as you can see in this slide, in those steps that I put over there. In step one, it was about AI agents that we used them as crawlers, something like crawlers, within our explicit knowledge documents across 12 main domains and more than 12, and flagged where tacit knowledge was missing. It was some specific prompts we used, combination of prompt writing, combination of creating some AI agents on Copilot Studio, plus Power Automate and other items that we have done all of these items internally in NWPA. And at the end of the day, we found those listed items as critical knowledge areas for each domain. And again, in steps 2, and as part of step 1, we connected those items to some selected SMEs by the support of managers. In step 2, we put together some questionnaires, again, by the support of AI, by some AI-generated tailored items and use cases, to create some specific questionnaires for each SME based on their backgrounds and connected to those specific and particular knowledge gaps. Those questionnaires were very deep ones and not very formal ones. What is your failures? What was your failures? What were your success stories? It was very connected to those initiatives that they have done here and also based on those gaps. And in step 3, we used again AI-aided interviews. In AI-aided interviews, definitely we did those interviews in person, by human, but we had some AI-aided applications. It was not very, something like outsourced applications, something in alongside ourselves to help the interviewers to ask very dedicated questions during the interview to complete and cover all aspects of those key knowledge areas. Step 4 was about those AI tools. Again, we used to create some booklets. We called them Insider Insights booklets. And we shared finally those booklets on SharePoint. And also the other item was putting, what was about embedding those insights booklets in the back end of some new agents that we have had in lessons learned management. Okay, what was the impact of this approach that we have started that from almost early 2025? First, it served as a proof of concept showing how AI can be aligned with knowledge management, not as a replacement, but as a powerful enabler. And also in our review sessions with new role successors that they use these knowledge booklets that we have published many of them during our interviews with different people, with different SMEs. Some of those new successors reported up to 30% time saving in getting up to speed, thanks to availability of these targeted high quality insights exactly related to those gaps that they were not very vivid and very explicit in our documents. In less than 6 months and without adding any new resources, we have conducted dozens of SMEs interviews. As you can see here, we created a knowledge web page on our knowledge center for those tacit knowledge and insight booklets. And also we put those items all in the back end of some AI agents that you can see some of the shots of those AI agents that we have created during the time by the support of these new insights we have gathered from our SMEs. Just to the latest one as the impact, I want to tell you that if we wanted to do these items about many interviews, many insight booklets, based on our measuring about the performance, we found that okay, for example, for each interview, we needed more than 3 weeks. SME interviews, 3 weeks to do all these items, done and dusted. But now, after half a day, after the final interview, we have all those booklets ready to go. Thank you so much. Sorry, I have been over the time a bit.
That's absolutely all right, Navid. Thank you so much. It's great to see how it's all coming together. Dan had to step out because of unexpected fire drill. So I'm going to hand over to Tony, who's going to talk to us about how do we get value and ROI from here. So Tony, over to you. Tony, you're muted.
Sorry, I was just chatting away there and you guys couldn't hear me. Um, I just have a couple of slides here. Thank you so much, Naveed. Actually, I loved seeing that because I'm going to refer to a few really important elements that you had in that. Um, so the Australian KM community is new to me, so I'm happy to meet you guys. I'm Tony Rasser. I'm the Innovation Director at Altuent. We are a knowledge management consultancy. I won't talk too long about that. What I really want to talk about today with you is getting value and ROI from your AI initiatives. And I have this first statement up here. I think most of us probably would agree that there's not really a question about are we going to use AI or if we're going to and if it can add value. But really, even most people today in business will say, yes, we can find some value in it. But what we hear from our clients is that our clients, they don't know where to start. How do we get value from it? Oh, we have this use case, we have that use case, right? Right. So how do we get value from that? And if we can talk about value, then we can start to move to return on investment or ROI. So in just the few minutes I have here, I think have an article coming out this week on our website where I actually go into more in depth on this topic. But real quickly, I put together something that I call the ROI equation for AI. And it's really, if we want to get value from AI, we have to look at a couple of different things. And then I'll go through them very briefly. The first are business goals and aligning our use cases to those business goals, and then wrap all of that around with user adoption, which is really something in knowledge management that I think we all focus on a lot and we're really interested in. It's the people element. It's people understanding what to do in their jobs, how to do their jobs, and how do we get them to, as you were saying there, Naveed, on board very quickly. It's really a big problem a lot of times when we're bringing people on board to share that information. So it's a really critical element in if we're wanting to get ROI as well. So I hear this a lot of times, we'll go in with our clients or I'm talking at a conference or, talking with peers or peers in industry. And I hear, oh, we have this use case and we really want to do this use case and it's going to help us to do X, Y, and Z. And, I always ask, well, what is the value that you're going to get from that? And to be quite frank with you, when we talk about ROI, sometimes it's not really ROI that should be our North Star, but it really should be the value that we're going to get out of it. And what do I mean by that? The first thing in this equation is knowing your business goals, right? What is important to the company? What is the vision? What is the mission of the company? And this is what I mean when I say that your ROI may not be the most important thing, because sometimes getting a return on investment for a new initiative can be a very long road, can't it? But if you can drive the vision or the mission of your company forward, now there's value. And in that case, value and ROI may or may not be the same thing, although hopefully, ultimately, we will see a return on investment initially, but you might have to invest something initially. And really, the reason we talk about business goals, and we've been talking about this long before we were talking about AI, when we talk about a knowledge management strategy or a content strategy, you always have to get buy-in. You need to get budget. You need to get support from leadership. And we always talk about going to those business goals because honestly, in knowledge management, isn't our goal to help move the business forward in all of the different ways that we do that. But you're also going to get buy-in when you can talk to the leadership about this is actually going to address our business goals. Here's how it's going to help. And then that second one there, aligning your AI use cases with KPIs. A couple of different types of KPIs. What are the KPIs that are important to the business? What are the KPIs that they care about? Can you move the needle on those? And then, of course, you want some measurable KPIs around your very specific use case. Sometimes the KPIs that the business uses and that are important to them will be of value, but oftentimes you need additional KPIs when you're starting to move a project forward. So, Naveed, I listened to you talking about that 30, you said 30% of something, and then there was, a reduced time in onboarding. Those are valuable KPIs, right? Now, I don't know how much you invested in that project. I don't know if you've actually seen a return on that investment or not. It appears to me that perhaps you did because you said with no additional resources. Of course, we don't know how much time and effort and money you invested in the tech too. But that's an example of where I mean that sometimes the value will supersede the ROI. Now, of course, the leadership has to believe that as well, right? So then the final thing is being able to select those quick wins that are actually going to move that needle forward. And when I say select, I actually have a visual here that kind of maps this out, if you will, a strategy. If you're putting together an AI knowledge strategy, that's what I call it. There you have the business goals, the vision, and the KPIs. Those all kind of revolve around the business. And there you have buy-in from the business, right? But see, I have multiple use cases here before you get to use case alignment. It's great if you have one use case and you do want to see if that aligns with the business goals. But one of the things we do is we take our clients through exercises where they look at different pain points and look at a variety of use cases. And then, we do some exercises to narrow those down and say, what's going to really move the needle? What's going to prove most valuable? And this is especially important when companies are just starting to use AI. Because if you can prove it in one place, then you will get greater adoption across the enterprise. And then I have a few other things there as we move through that strategy. I'm not going to focus on these too much today, but content readiness, we were talking before this started about someone using SharePoint for their intranet. We really focus on helping companies to use SharePoint for their intranet with all of the semantic layers and such that AI can use now to help us get reliable AI. You want to do a proof of concept. We never suggest launching into a really expensive project. Naveed, you talked about that. You guys did a POC first. User adoption, I've already mentioned it. I think it's wonderful to experiment with AI. But one of the things we've seen in a lot of the statistics and the reports that have been coming out recently is that there's been so much experimentation that companies are getting experimentation fatigue, and they're starting to say that they're not actually seeing a return on their investment. So I think POCs to help prove that value, and then getting users. If you can't get the users on board, all the experimentation in the world is not going to help. If you can't get the users on board, you know what's going to happen to your ROI? It's going to start to drop very, very rapidly. And once you have gone through this strategy, and this is in its very simplistic form, there are a lot of things you really want to look at, then you can think about scaling. So I wanted to just very quickly share a sample use case that we came across with one of our clients. This was a client who was in a regulated space. And very briefly, they had a regulatory filing, and they had estimated it was going to take them about 2,000 hours of effort. We divided it into 1,000 and 1,000 when they asked us to look at it because they were kind of you could break the tasks down into two groups. So we looked at that first one, and then we looked at that second one. And what's really interesting in this particular use case, when we look at the company's vision, mission, or even around this specific project, Budget was not the most important thing. Yes, they cared about budget, obviously, but speed was the most important thing for them because in this particular industry and with this type of client that we were dealing with, getting to market 2 months faster can literally mean billions of dollars in revenue. So they wanted speed. And so they had some, messages from the leadership. Hey, you guys need to all start using AI. Nothing about proving value, but this team wanted to prove value actually and say, you know what? Can we reduce this 2,000 hours? And we started with the 1,000, and then we're dealing with the next 1,000 next. What's really interesting, and I'm going to share this with you because I think it's a real world scenario, is for that first task where we're looking at those first 1,000 hours. The solution was not AI. And we told them that. We said, it's not AI. We can help you with a simple automation here. And we were able to save them 800 hours on this particular effort. Basically, even more than that, because all they had to do was, once we had it built, push a button and let it run, over the weekend or while they were doing something else, and boom, the task was done. Now we bring in the humans to validate it, of course. Now, on the second task, we will be using AI for that. So just to wrap up, really key takeaways, start with a strategy, don't start with a use case. Do some experimenting, sure, and we really are promoters for user adoption purposes of experimentation, but start with a strategy. Align your use case with your business goals, prove out with a POC and some metrics, make sure you build in user adoption, and then after that, you could be ready to scale with a roadmap. And that's all for me. I think Stuart's next.
Fantastic. Thanks, thanks, Tony. It's a very good excellent.
Thank you.
Sorry, I had to evacuate the building, so I'm just in a temporary meeting space at the moment. But, thank you very much.
We heard about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Over to you, Stuart. Sorry, what am I saying?
Time to stop sharing there, Stuart. But I think you can just
take it. And then I'm just setting up my sharing because I've got a very wide screen, so I have to share a section of the screen. So hopefully that is working. Can you see my screen there?
Yeah,
we can.
The cherry
awesome! Yay! My apologies. I should have set this up before the meeting. Obviously, I'm Stuart French. I'm a local knowledge manager and worked right across private and government. And I'm a bit of an AI futurist in the KM space, and I'm often talking about big picture and policy and principles. But today, I guess there's so much hype and fear around AI at the moment, particularly in the government space, that with everybody experimenting and sharing ideas for the future and making a fuss about the latest AI failure, AI is so new that we're still learning about what is even possible. And I love Tony's, presentation because it's so simple. We need to get back to that basics. So my goal today is to give you the most spectacularly boring talk on AI you have ever seen. And but hopefully, for those of you who are still a bit unsure about what your first steps might be, we'll give you a bit of confidence about moving forward with KM in mind. So today I'm going to cover what our agency is doing, the steps we're taking, how we're getting our heads around AI and what it can do for us, and what the executive's risk appetite is. So hopefully you're going to go away feeling a little bit more normal and with some ideas about what your next steps might be. So we started by building a cross-functional working group. This happened about 2 months before I started with the organization. As a regulator, we have a regulatory intelligence team. You would call that BI probably out in the business world. And we're lucky enough to have a data scientist on that team with nearly a decade of AI experience. So that we're extremely lucky to have her. Her boss, the head of regulatory intelligence, and the head of corporate comms were really instrumental in bringing that first stakeholder group together. And with the key needs in both the content creation and validation space, and also data analytics areas. The working groups met several times, pulled together a policy and a framework, consulting various parts of the business. And that policy has really set our course. It was tentative and designed to be updated frequently. Now, part of putting that policy together, of course, was we had to read all of the AI guidance. Now, anyone else here that's in government will know how much guidance there is for what you can and can't do with AI. I can see Bruce smiling there because he thinks more than just government needs to have some guidelines around it, and I totally agree with him. And so I encourage you, even if you're not a government department, take advantage of some of the work we've done here. And that QR code on the screen will take you to a ChatGPT that I put together to coalesce all of the government guidance we had at the time. And I've added a few cents. So you can actually have a conversation with these documents. You can challenge it. You can ask it, if I was writing a KM framework for my business, what are the top 6 things I should include? Or what approach should we take? Should it be a risk-based approach or a guidelines-based approach? Really handy tool. I hope that benefits you like it did us, because there was hundreds of pages of documentation we had to read through to build our policy and our framework. Of course, you don't have to, if you're private, you don't have to conform to these, but they actually represent a really strong ethical framework to start your exploration from. And you can access that to sort of throw some of your ethical questions or concerns at. So have fun with that. The next part we focused on was awareness and training. So we started off with our Information Privacy and Security Committee being led by our VP DSS requirements. For those of you who don't know, that's the Victorian Privacy and Data Security Standard that all government departments have to comply with. And we started communicating good practice to our users. So being aware of recent AI fails in Victorian government and federal government, we didn't want to suffer the same embarrassment. And so, part of this is very much about continuing to kick off a series of lunchtime sessions and promote a prompt library. We're looking to have an expertise boxing match between ChatGPT and one of our top engineers, and we'll get the other engineers to choose the questions and then to vote on who did the best job answering the question, the human or the ChatGPT, or a combination of both. We got that idea from the recent KM Triversary Forum, actually. So we're going to give that a go. On the IT side of things, we've installed a proxy security software that detects when our users are using AI, and it actually comes up and warns them, you're about to use an AI site. Please be aware what information you're sharing with that site, and do not upload any sensitive information. And of course, that's also given us some reporting. So we've started looking at user behaviors and identified some of our top AI users, but also some of the tools they're using. And one of those that we're concerned about right now, for example, is Grammarly, which uploads the entire document. So they thought they were only sharing the documents they were asking for help on, but Grammarly's actually uploading every document regardless of sensitivity. So some things there to be aware of. Now, there's also a personal practice. So we're encouraging people to learn what to do, and I've been doing that myself. So just as one example, in the recent Triversary Forum, we captured a lot of information during the conference, and I built this little tool here that allowed the users to go through some of the feedback. So you can see there's 2 bits of feedback here that was captured. I'm just going to quickly race through some of these. And you can see each one has technology, AI. It has a topic on the top of it and a title. And I used AI live to generate these in the spreadsheet before that ran this app. So I could guide some, and if I just click through, you'll see some of these are quite long. You know, they've written quite a bit there. So we needed a simple way. Then you can simply add a word here, save the connection, and what that created in the end was this wonderful knowledge graph of all of the feedback we'd received. But more than that, how they're all connected to one another. And you can see there's some strong links here. So if I click on this is AI-based knowledge management. Really strong connection from our people in the conference to low-tech BLAST and to mapping knowledge. And so this allowed, if you jump across to AI, then you see the AI cluster of the different thinking and the different issues that were brought up. And if I click on one of these, then you will see the actual feedback that was given during the conference. So I'm not going to go too much into detail there. I just want to show you how I'm experimenting with AI with different tools, just to see how we can automate, how we can do things, and what I am capable of doing internally, what I think our people will be able to do, and what we need to be pulling in third parties for. So the next steps moving forward now are maintaining AI use cases. So we've built a bit of a register for that. We've been running that for about 6 months now. We have 17 separate use cases identified. And it was really nice to hear Tony talking about a workshop to work out, hold on, what are your actual business requirements? How do the AI fit in, and what's going to be a good fit, and what's going to give the highest ROI for your initial things. We actually hold our first one of those workshops tomorrow morning. So I'm really looking forward to that. We're using an AI vendor to do that, and we've been sponsored by Microsoft to run a couple of these, which is fantastic. So a shout out to Microsoft for that support to help us take these first steps and bring the executive along on the journey. And of course, just having those use cases isn't enough. From a knowledge perspective, I want the brains in the room. So I've made sure that we have people from records, from knowledge, from IT, from operations, and from corporate comms and legal in that workshop, because they're all on a learning journey too, and they're going to have to come up to speed with some of the things they might be able to use, so they can go, oh, is that what it does? In that case, could we use it for this? All right. And so I want the humans in the room, not just a bunch of, nerds like me trying to represent their needs. Now, some of you might be wondering, especially if you've jumped into, running pilots and exploratory projects and MVPs, why we started with policy. That may seem like a strange place to start. But when we sat down, obviously as a regulator, we need to be setting a great example for how others, both in government and outside government, should act. And we felt that if there was going to be a major failure, it probably wouldn't come from the technology. It would come from a lack of governance. And so wasting money on the wrong project is actually a fairly low risk for us. We figured no matter what project we do, we are going to create a bunch of great internal knowledge on what works, what doesn't work, what we need to be careful of. But, the last thing, a real failure would look like a security breach or some sort of reduction of our regulatory capacity with people taking AI shortcuts. Or even embarrassing the minister, the big major no-no when you work in government. And so the trick here isn't so much to hit gold first time, it's to avoid the gaping pitfalls along the way and work out the best way was really to get our governance right first, set some guardrails, define and get approved by the executive which way we were going to approach this. And we're really happy. As I said, that policy is light and is meant to be reviewed. In fact, we're coming up for a review now. So we're constantly learning and we're expressing those learnings in policy. And so we really want to be guided by our goal. And our goal isn't to reach the top first, it's to reach the top without losing anybody off the mountain, right? So the executive has already stopped one suboptimal project, and it was a technical person using the policy to push back and say, listen, this doesn't fit our approach here. And I'm really happy to see those governance gears in motion and that they actually worked. The learning journey builds organizational alignment and confidence. A real thing for me as the knowledge manager is I'm trying to bring everyone on the AI journey. This isn't an IT thing. It isn't an executive thing. It isn't a business change thing. This is everybody on this journey because it's literally going to change the way we work. It's true that as a regulator, we are under a media magnifying glass. Okay. But the benefits of us taking this approach have gone well beyond that and are actually giving a greater level of engagement at all levels of business. And that'll be my focus moving forward. So thank you very much.
Cool. Thanks, Stuart. Very, very insightful and very interesting. A lot of content there and a lot of pertinent content as well. And yeah, it's comes with AI, with the capability it has, and you've mentioned a number of times the rigor process that it requires to ensure that whatever that's presented is presented accurately and used appropriately. So that's very, very important. Thank you. We've got a couple of minutes. We'll probably do a couple of minutes of Q&A, and then we'll look to wrap up. So we'll start with I think Kate, you dropped a questions about use cases. Did you have who that was targeted to?
So we are a government organisation in Western Australia. I guess we have people are using AI in their roles for, helping us find information better, probably summarising information. Some people are using it more than others. I just wondered if looking at some kind of use cases in other organisations would be interesting to see where we might be going that we're not at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm happy to answer that. Tony, you've probably got a more broader view of things. Do you want me to get started and then you can wrap it up?
Sure, go ahead.
So some of the use cases that we've identified have been very much around speed, which is what Tony mentioned before. So just one example, we use safety cases as a way of monitoring the intentions of industry, especially the power industry, and what they're doing. If they're going to build a new transmission line from the Latrobe Valley to Melbourne, then they need to submit a safety case. That safety case can be 900 pages long. Now, if they want to change a small part of that or add to it, 12 months later, they'll submit another 900-page safety case. And our team has to go through and compare every paragraph of those 900 pages to see what's worked, what's changed, and if they've snuck anything in or doing anything untoward as per the legislation. So obviously automation around the processing of those safety cases initially, and then the comparison of those moving forward is one of the things that's number one on our list actually of use cases. Just to give you an example, it's not really taking anyone's job. What we want is for those really high value, expensive engineers that we have to be working on engineering work, not on admin work and just comparing two documents. And so it's really about bringing that expertise and knowledge to bear on the task at hand. Tony?
Yeah, Stuart, you said something really critical there. It's really that repetitive work, anything that's repetitive. So actually, if anyone wants to reach out to me on LinkedIn, we put together, I can't find it right now, but we have a ebook on 30 plus use cases for AI, and we can send that to you. and it's got it broken down by industry and for executives and knowledge. There's a section on 5 use cases for knowledge managers. But I'll tell you a couple of interesting ones that I think are very specific to knowledge management is one of the things that we're helping many of our clients with right now. They're all telling us the same problem. It's like, so how do we get our information ready for AI because of just what Bruce was talking about there. Reliability, you want truth in AI, you want ethics and all of that. You want to make sure that it's actually ready to give that AI that truth. The AI can only, spit out what you give it. And so one of the things we're doing is putting together workflows and frameworks so that you can use AI to get your content or your information ready for AI. So a lot of times you'll find that this is really true with AI. Here's a simple one, like if you need to write a prompt for something and you're sitting there thinking, ask AI, how do I write this prompt? It's like you can get it for the very things that you want it to do. You can actually ask it to help you. So things like content audits, we're looking at use cases like go and take all of this information that has already been human validated, use that as your source. Now I have this information over here that has not been validated. See if you can validate any of this information for me based on what's already there. Or looking for reuse. Can you find, I'm about to upload this article. Maybe this has already been written. Look for contradictory statements, across an enterprise, especially if you've got a ton of documents sitting in SharePoint. People throw everything in SharePoint and things get really outdated, or someone says it this way, another person says it this way. Yeah, I see you guys thumbs up. That's our biggest use case right now. Our biggest use case that we're hearing from I would say, 80% of our existing clients is that, we want to use SharePoint. We've got SOPs sitting in there. We want to put an agent on top of it because Microsoft has made all these things possible now, but our data's not ready, our content's not ready. Use the AI to help you get it ready. So I hope that's helpful. We could go through, 100 more use cases, but for the sake of time, we won't.
No, that's yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot of opportunities there and a lot of approaches. And yeah, unfortunately, we are bang on time. So I have dropped the link into the use case. I think there's some registration that's required there. So have a look at that in the chat.
Okay.
So just to wrap up, we've got 2 more sessions coming up. One on Wednesday to talk about lessons learned from different rollouts that are there, and then one on Friday with regards to professional development and global initiatives that are there. So it'll be good. Like I said, there's a big community and there's a lot going on. So it'll be good to understand that a little bit. Next one, please. And on Friday, in the spirit of promoting the community, we're running in-person meetups. So Brisbane, Sydney, and Melbourne. Friday, 4:30 to 6:30. Feel free to register and turn up. It'll be lovely to meet people face to face and establish a bit of a connection and build that community. So that's really good. And lastly, just wanted to. Melbourne Knowledge Management. That's the Stewards forum there. That's there's a lot of activities there that's available and to tap into. And the other one is the Knowledge Summit in Dublin. So they've extended a 50% discount for people that from here that are wanting to join there. It's a yearly forum, and I think Stuart and Co-'s been there a couple of times, so definitely recommended.
Yeah, we had about 7 Australians there last year, Dan, and we need more Australians. Got to get the Aussies out to Dublin, and that is hands down the best conference I've ever been to in my career. Amazing, cannot be missed. So if you're going to do one thing for your KM career this year, go to Dublin in June.
Fantastic. And the other thing that I haven't been, but I've heard that if you register now, there's I know 12 months away is a long time, but there's always different options you can change as required. So yeah, please look into it. Okay, I think that's it. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for attending. Thank you, Tony, Stuart, Bruce, Naveed, for speaking, and thanks,
you.
Amit, for your help in pulling this together.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. Thank you, Amit. Yeah,
Thanks for having.
see you soon. Thank you.
Great to meet you all.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking
Yeah.
us.
Cool. All
Nice
right.
to
Yeah,
see
thank
you
you very
all.
much.
Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you.
Enjoy
Bye.
the rest of your day.
You too. Thank you.
Where's that leading?
It's great. Thanks, Amit, for organising everything. Good job, mate.
Thank you so much, Stuart, for coming over. Thank you.
If you wouldn't mind, is there any chance I can have Tony's contact information? I'd love to talk to her more. She was excellent.
Absolutely. I'll share her some contact details over email.
Yeah, that'd be great. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Have a good one, and
day.
we'll see you. Are you in Melbourne or Sydney? Where are you based?
I'm in Brisbane.
Ah, Brisbane.
Yeah.
Ah.
Pretty
How
interesting.
embarrassing. I
was hoping
can't
you'd be
get out.
Catherine, I'm really hoping to catch up with you on the in-person meetup.
I'd love to do that if we get the chance. I was actually in the Gold Coast on Friday, but that's all right. Let's just keep each other in mind, and let's catch up if we're ever in each other's cities.
Absolutely. Sounds great.
Cheers, mate. Have a good one.
You do. Bye-bye.